What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we're doing a book review of Elon Musk's biography, Tesla, SpaceX, and the quest for a fantastic future. This is an unbelievable read. Of course, as an Elon fanboy, Tesla shareholder, this is my second time reading the book. I've gotten a ton of requests from you guys to make a book review on it, so blasted through it literally in one sitting, 7 hours, just riveted to the book. Shout out to Ashley Vance for writing it. So first, I'm gonna give you guys a breakdown and sort of summary of what goes down in the book, and then I'll give you guys my analysis from like a Tesla shareholder, Elon fan point of view. The book is, starts with his life story. He grew up in South Africa, has a lot of interesting family dynamics going on. His parents got divorced at an early age. He went to live with his dad. He doesn't really talk about what happened living with his dad, but apparently it was a difficult childhood and upbringing, sort of a lot of mystery clouding that period of his life. But we do have some insight in that he was, coding from an incredibly early age. In fact, when he was 12, published the code for this video game in a newspaper. It wasn't like he was just tinkering around with computers, being interested in them. No, he was literally writing the code for a computer game that worked and was being published when he was 12 years old. So Elon Musk has just shown a knack for innovating since day one. And he eventually moves to Canada, ends up going to Wharton, I believe, and studying physics there. And then is when the fun stuff starts. After going to Wharton, he's about to go to Stanford to pursue a PhD in, I believe, ultracapacitors for, super advanced applications for electric vehicles. Of course, not a coincidence, but instead decides to go to Silicon Valley. He sees the internet boom happening. This is right in the late 90s when all of the mania is going down. Elon is a software guy, goes with his brother Kimball Musk to make some riches. They start a company called Zip2, which is sort of a hybrid of Google Maps and Yelp. And this was, a company started by Elon and his brother. They were sleeping in the couch on The Office, just a true, air mattress Silicon Valley started from nothing story. That company eventually goes on to be sold for $300 million plus to Compaq Computers. Elon Musk walks away with $22 million from that deal, buys a fancy car, but then eventually just plows the bulk of his capital from that sale right into his next company, X.com. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. This is the story that eventually turns into PayPal. A ton of drama. They merged with PayPal, which originally was a separate company run by Peter Thiel, who's now super famous in his own right. And a lot of drama in the PayPal days, which I think were super important and, an incredible learning experience for Elon Musk. He was still super young at the time. Has this trend throughout the book of, I don't want to say control freak, but he really wants to be the CEO and have control of every facet of the company. And there's this trend in the book where when he starts to feel like he doesn't have control, he makes radical moves to get control. And so that happened to X.com, eventually with PayPal, eventually he got ousted as the CEO. But, at the end of the day, Elon Musk and the PayPal guys, now known as the PayPal Mafia, because all of them have done such incredible things, Max Levchin, Jeremy Stoppelman, I think, who's the founder of Yelp, Reid Hoffman, who went on to do LinkedIn, Peter Thiel, of course, the famous investor and founder of Palantir, Elon Musk, all were at PayPal during those years. So eventually, 2002, PayPal IPOs. Then shortly thereafter, it gets bought out by eBay. Next thing you know, Elon Musk walks away with $180 million. He invests $100 million of it into SpaceX, $70 million into Tesla, $10 million into Solar City. The guy could have just went and retired on a beach, but instead he took all of his profits from this massive sale and decided to go balls to the wall in 3 incredibly disruptive companies. I mean, you could not make this stuff up. There's a reason why Elon Musk is a legend. His track record of, coding software company, selling it, putting that money into his next software company, selling it for even more money, plowing that into a rocket company and electric vehicle company. You cannot make this stuff up. And one interesting tidbit from this is that as a part of this, and I had no idea, right after selling PayPal, he goes on a trip, sort of honeymoon with his wife, and gets malaria and ends up being incredibly sick, almost like a near-death experience for Elon Musk. His friends thought he was going crazy. And it seems like, in my opinion, and my gist from reading the book is that was a formative experience in him wanting to do something super meaningful with his life. And then out of that period of his life is when he got crazy enough to commit to doing SpaceX and Tesla. The story of the start of SpaceX is just unreal. Elon Musk, always fascinated with space and Mars, was involved in this project trying to send a mouse to Mars and get it to breed up there to get people excited about space and that sort of thing. Eventually, they go to Russia to try and buy this sort of second-rate rocket that's cheaper to pull off the launch. The Russians are just laughing at them. They think they're a joke. On the plane ride back, Elon is just furiously typing on his computer and eventually whips around and has this spreadsheet modeled out with the costs to actually build a rocket and says, Like, basically, fuck it, we're gonna build our own rocket, we can do it way cheaper, let's make it happen. Like, I don't know, it's just insane that is how SpaceX started, but that is the story. He met up with this guy called Tom Mueller, who's now, one of the key guys behind SpaceX. And I will also say that that's one of the things I loved about the book, was that it gives you insights into these characters in Elon Musk's life, like Tom Mueller, J.B. Straubel, who are, shy away from talking to the press because Elon wants to control the narrative, which is fine, but, you don't really hear these people's stories. And so in the book, they give these people the light of day, and you realize just how many amazingly talented people Elon Musk is surrounded with. The other big thing about SpaceX, which I thought was interesting that I took away from this book, is SpaceX is all about vertical integration. They're all about building the thing themselves, less parts on suppliers. This is why they can do the impossible and reduce costs, and that is the same methodology that's being applied at Tesla. And so I just think when people, assume that the vertical integration at Tesla is a bad idea, they don't think Elon Musk can pull off manufacturing, like, they're just not looking at the bigger picture of what this guy has done and is doing with SpaceX, and how that can translate to advantages with Tesla. They even have a fascinating part of the book where they explain something called like stir welding, where SpaceX, pioneered this new form of welding, which can make materials much stronger and much lighter. Now that form of welding is heavily used at Tesla, which is part of the reason their vehicles are so safe, but also so light, which means they have long range. So you really get the sense for just how deep Elon's prowess in the technology itself is. I mean, this guy is an engineer by definition, not really a businessman. There's just so much in this book I could cover, so sorry if I'm like a little scatterbrained. Now I'm gonna go through just scanning the book. I dog-eared some pages to see if we get any other interesting tidbits. 2013, Tesla was almost about to go bankrupt. They didn't know if Model S holders would convert their reservations. Elon Musk tries to sell the company to Larry Page. Then all of a sudden, a massive short squeeze occurs and customers are putting down their deposits. Tesla made it through that period. As an investor in Tesla, when I think about the downside, people always talk about, like somebody will buy them because of their technology if it goes down. I think that's an incredibly real backstop in terms of like limiting risk for Teslas. They have investors like Tencent, people like Larry Page. Google has $100 billion in capital and has Waymo that could be turbocharged by buying Tesla. Like, Tesla is an incredible asset with big factories, with stores around the world, with groundbreaking battery technology that's only getting more relevant by the day. I think Google would buy them in a worst case scenario. There's an incredible description here of how Tesla provided their software expertise to the heating and cooling of battery cells, and that is what the edge is, and how Panasonic, people just assume that because, Panasonic is involved with the Gigafactory, that anybody can partner with Panasonic and make batteries that are as good as Tesla. But this part does a phenomenal job at breaking down, the breakthroughs that I think even just J.B. Straubel has made and Tesla's team has made in terms of software management of batteries. And this ties in not just to the battery story, but to the story about how Tesla's efficiency and prowess in software is a major edge over other automakers, especially who are now trying to copy electric cars. Oh, the other thing that I thought about this book is there's so many times when Elon Musk describes the end vision for PayPal and how, it was this peer-to-peer payment system where you didn't have to rely on banks. It was way faster. It was way cheaper to send money. And I just can't, and I'm like, how is Elon Musk going to start PayPal or X.com, talk about this peer-to-peer payment system, and just have no opinion on Bitcoin or cryptocurrency? Like, I think that's totally BS. I think Elon is not telling the truth or the whole story to the public here, and must be fascinated by cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And I've always kind of had that hunch, and you only get that hunch reinforced significantly when you read this book, because you realize that Elon was trying to create something that's so similar to Bitcoin with PayPal that it just seems like I don't know what happened, but that I'm still as curious as ever to know what Elon thinks about Bitcoin. So in summary, this book, of course, I'm rating it 5 out of 5 stars. I think if you're an investor in Tesla, the best way to do homework on a company, in my opinion, or the incredibly important homework, is to know your CEO. I think reading your CEO's biography, if they have one, is just must do research if you want to be in the know. Especially if you're short Tesla, you should read this book because it just shows you how committed Elon is, how he never gives up, how he's been the underdog since day one, how he's been hustling, how he's just accomplished the impossible time after time. And I think he's going to do it again with Tesla. Like, you read this guy's life history and you realize this book probably shouldn't even been written. They should wait for the next 40 years to see what else this crazy shit this guy does, because they're going to need probably like 4 more books this size to chronicle everything that Elon's doing. And so, I don't know, I just think it's a fascinating insight to see Elon, his life get opened up so early in his career. He's only 46 years old. This entire book just reinforced to me that Elon is a once in 100 years, maybe more, type of entrepreneur and businessman. Not only is he the engineer who understands the technology and a voracious learner, but he also has the business skills to turn, these breakthroughs in technology into products that people can use every day and make those products touch millions of people. That skill set required to do that is phenomenal. And time again, Elon Musk has proven he can bring these industry-leading disruptions to market. And people love to say how he never makes money. None of his businesses make money. Look at PayPal. That's a business worth tens of billions of dollars now, doing billions a year in profit now that it's hit maturity. And even now, PayPal hasn't even become close to Elon's full vision. Imagine how big it would be if it had. To me, Elon Musk has one of the best business track records on the planet when you consider he sold Zip2 for 300 million plus, sold PayPal for a couple billion plus. Tesla started from scratch, now has transitioned the entire world to electric vehicles. SpaceX has made rockets reusable, a magnitude improvement in the cost of space flight. What he's about to do with the Boring Company and revolutionize mass public transit. The guy is incredible. He's doing it. I think there's no one more inspiring. There's no one I would rather have my capital invested with than Elon Musk. I think he's so early in his career. His mind is so unbelievably creative. One of the biggest things that I get from Elon Musk that I don't think people realize is just at its core, he's like an artist or like an inventor, really. He just invents these products that people aren't even dreaming about. And the fact that he understands physics means he can actually turn them into realities. I don't know. I think he is going to be one of the most important people in human history, ever, especially in this era. Bigger than Steve Jobs, bigger than Jeff Bezos. And I feel blessed that where's Elon's net worth? Where's the bulk of Elon's net worth invested right now? Tesla stock. And so he said Tesla will be a $1 trillion company. And I believe him. I think he's gonna do it. He's done crazy shit like this before. And why would you want to bet against him? If there's one guy who's one CEO in the world, if I could invest with, and you just gave me the pick of any CEO to give my money to, of course it would be this guy. Who else would you pick? I don't know. So that's sort of a rant for me, but I just think when people talk about, Model 3 production issues or SpaceX's rocket blowing up, first of all, they don't realize how much Elon Musk has already accomplished and how incredible his achievements are. Second of all, they don't realize this guy hustles his ass off. When he's saying he's working at the factory and sleeping on the couch, he is. No other automaker CEO is doing that. And his hustle factor is something that has been with him since day one. It's been off the charts. This guy has proven that he cares more than almost anyone about the projects he's working on. He is really as altruistic as he seems, and that he wants to make the future more exciting and more sustainable, and that's his motivation for doing what he does, not making money. No other company Elon Musk is competing with in the auto or energy sector, in my opinion, has a CEO that is motivated by the same things. They're just motivated by making money, not making a difference, and I think that is Elon's edge. That's what you take away from this book. This book makes me so stoked that we have people like Elon Musk who are early in their careers with decades left to innovate. That's an exciting future. And so if you like Elon Musk or if you hate Elon Musk, read this book. He's one of the most important people alive and only getting more important by the day. So do yourself a favor. I'll put a link in the description so you can check it out. If you guys like Hyperchange, please check out our Patreon page. Consider supporting. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.